Welcome everyone to Solomon's Crown. Welcome back, guys. It's been a long time. It's your boy Pop. You got your boy Willie Man over here, but we're just gonna get straight into it. So today we're gonna do another video review, specifically on a particular issue that me and Will want to speak about. And it's pretty much like the fast money slash instant gratification mentality of today. But without further ado, we're gonna show you a bit of this video, show you a clip.
I'm an exotic dancer. My mom is also an exotic dancer. My aunt and my grandma. I guess you can say it runs in the family.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
So that's $2,500 right here. Your husband needs to be a man and get a job and take care of his girl and kid. Well, I actually like working, and even if he had a job, I would still work. So if I make great money, hey, why not?
Me and Amanda met through a dating app while she was down vacation in Dominican Republic.
I actually told him I was a dancer in like the first 10 minutes.
I was okay with it. I just feel it's a regular job.
What did he say?
What would you do if Allie tells you she wants to be a dancer?
If my daughter ever wanted to be a dancer, I would approve as long as she's doing it for the right reasons. So if she wants to do it to make money, to better herself, and to better her future, then I would totally be okay with it.
All right. So as you can see, and to kind of fill you on the details, so this chick is, she's a stripper, and her husband, he's from the Dominican Republic, and he's a stay-at-home dad, and takes care of their young daughter. So I think this goes beyond gender role reversal and whatnot. So before I get into my views, what do you think about this whole situation, Will? How is it impacting society?
This day and age, I'm not amazed by anything. Truthfully, if that's the life that they choose, that's the life that they choose. You're not supposed to talk about how people live their lives, but as far as like it impacts society and like people thinking that like, oh, this is the life that you want to live. I don't know. We're supposed to raise our kids to change the world, I guess, and be better in the world, but then it doesn't always happen like that. I think the biggest issue is fast money. Fast money puts you in a state where you don't necessarily always think that, you always assume that it's going to be that way, but like, say something changes and you don't have any investment, you don't have any motivation to grind for anything else. Putting most jobs that you get fast money in aren't long-term jobs. They're just kind of like time fillers, I guess. You can get fast money for a certain amount of time. To include like drug dealing, like scamming people, things like that. We've seen other situations where people are scamming people and they're just like, oh, the money's always coming in, but there's not really any out for that, because if you're only getting fast money, then that puts you in a different mentality for how your money comes in. And I think that's the biggest problem. I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. Like, if she wants to be a stripper, she can be a stripper, and the dude could be a stay-at-home dad. But it goes into like the whole like role reversals. Like, is this what role reversal is like at this point, where it's just like, all right, I'm gonna be a stripper, and then you can just stay at home and watch the kids. And like, if you watch the video even more, they're like, oh, we don't have any time for each other, this and that. But our mom was a stripper, grandmother was a stripper, things like that. Like, and the thing is, it's just like, bro, I don't know. I don't really know. To be honest, like, what do you feel?
So there's layers to this whole situation, the way I see it. And again, just like how Will said, to preface my whole argument is that I can't knock anyone's hustle. It is what it is. Like, people get their money the way they get it. It's America. It is what it is. And there are some couples where, you know, the dude is a stay-at-home dad and the mother is a breadwinner, and it works sometimes. Where it works, not sometimes, it just works for some people. But the way I see it is just further with the argument with the fast money. It's more so the relationship and the bonds that the mother and the mother and the father has, and then the parents of the child has. So first and foremost, as for the dude, just by the body language and everything, I can tell he may not be as assertive. He may be in a situation that he may come to regret later, in my opinion. Just the way he looks, like, not the way he looks, but the way he acts, like in that whole interview, like kind of like, yeah, like not like assertive and everything like that. So just by that situation, like, how does he feel when, you know, his wife is out there doing her thing and he's at home with the child all the time? Like, when does he get to have his chance for growth, like self-growth? Like, but if he wants to go to night school or do XYZ, granted it didn't go into detail with that, but you know, it just seems like he feels like he's stuck with the daughter in some ways. That's the vibe I'm getting. This is my interpretation.
Yeah.
So another thing is too, is that with her being in that situation, in that job, with her being the breadwinner, just the way that she acts, like, you know, she has her Instagram, I think her social media, let's call it that. I don't know if it was Instagram in particular, but her social media, and she has like millions of followers, and she likes attention, and I just feel like, in my opinion, that she might find herself in a situation where she might be involved with other dudes just because of hypergamy. Like, you know, for a lot of women, the tendency to find something better, because if she's in this life, she came from a long line of strippers, right? I just feel like she has the tendency to mess around, because it's like her husband, she has the husband doing XYZ with, you know, with her child, the caretaking aspect, and it's like her money's a motivation. Is like, what's stopping her from messing with a big baller? Like, you know, what's stopping that?
But that's the thing is, like, I mean, I think that, like, regardless if you're getting a bag, like, that's just what it comes down to. It's like, it comes down to one of those things. I mean, if men are putting themselves in this situation, then that's kind of like their own prerogative. But it's just like, is this what role reversal is going to be? Is this like female dominated marketplace where it's just like, oh, because we've already talked about like how men do a lot of high risk activities, and then there's a lot of jobs that women do that just most men wouldn't do. I mean, stripping being one of them. I mean, there are male strippers, but I think that women stripping is more of a mainline thing, or like a mainstream thing when it comes to it. When somebody says there's a stripper, it's not usually a dude. I mean, look at Cardi B, like what she did. Like, but the thing is like, even with Cardi B and like everything she did, like there's allegations that she was drugging dudes and doing all types of weird stuff and things like that. So it's just like, these are like high risk, high reward jobs, because it's like,
sure, for sure.
Like, I mean, she might just run into the wrong dude one night and then something bad goes down, and then it's just like, now that creates more problems. So the difference between working like a blue collar job and, I mean, these fast money jobs, it's just like, maybe in a blue collar job you lose your job, and it's just kind of like, one of those things. Like, but like the risk for sexual assault and things like that is like a lot higher in these jobs, especially like sex working and everything like that. And then that brings in another element to the relationship, because like if something like that happens, then that is something that she somewhat put herself in. She put her daughter in, and then now her husband has to deal with it too. So I don't think that a lot of people think about these things, but truthfully, I mean, you saw how her mom was just like, well, I wanted to say something, but I mean, I was a stripper, my mom was a stripper, and it's just like, you don't have to keep repeating those generational things. Like, if you have something to say, and that's the thing too, is like, now she's raising a daughter, and her daughter is probably going to look up to her and be like, "Oh, my mom stripped, so I can strip." And that's the biggest
my
thing.
grandma strips.
It's like that's the thing is like kids are very
impressionable. For
exactly, especially when it comes to the parents, because in most children's eyes, like their parents can do no wrong no matter what they're doing, and you have to always make them understand that, like, hey, I'm doing this because this and that. But I mean, I personally wouldn't be in that situation, so it's kind of hard for me to like talk about.
Look at it.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like common things now, because you got to think like as soon as OnlyFans blew up, like now you got a bunch of dudes who got their girls who are like doing OnlyFans and things like that. And then it's like, I remember seeing one video on was it TikTok maybe or Facebook, but some dude found out that his girl was doing OnlyFans, and she was like, "What's wrong? Like, what's wrong with me doing OnlyFans?" And it's just like, bro, like, there's so many things wrong about it. I mean, at least in my eyes, because it's just like,
yeah, for sure.
It's just like, bro, but that's the society that we're growing up in now, and that's just like the simp culture, where it's just like dudes are literally paying to see these girls that they knew from high school or just hot, just like Instagram models and things like that. And it's like, I don't think this is what they meant when they meant like female empowerment and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you're fighting for equal rights, you're fighting for like, equal opportunities and things like that. But then when the opportunities present themselves, and then you go into these career fields and you realize like, oh, men really don't respect women, or like just people in general don't respect each other, and then it's a problem. But it's like, this is what men deal with all the time. So
exactly. And it's to finish up that angle where, like, you know, her tendencies to my assumptions that, you know, she might be in danger, or she might be tempted to mess with other dudes that probably make more money, have more social status than her husband, is that, first of all, I personally believe that women are always attracted to power no matter what. Even if they say like, oh, like, I'm cool with being the breadwinner or whatever. It's like, if the right dude with a good amount of money and a good amount of social status come up to her, who knows? Because it seems from her mentality that money is her motivation. Because even in the interview, you guys can watch it, and we're going to put the link in the description box below. She was like, the interviewer asked her the question like, hey, you know, if your daughter wanted to become a stripper, what would you do? And she said, and I quote, yeah, I would approve, but only if you did it for the right reasons, like for money. And I'm like thinking about what you just said. It's like, so you said that you would approve your daughter to do the same thing that you do, because she knows it's fast money. She knows it's not in a well-respected field, that she would only allow her to do it for the right reasons, like money. And it's like, is money really the right reason to do a job like that? And it goes back to what you said. It's like female empowerment. It's like, why couldn't you be like, okay, boom, like, I'm making all this money for this amount of time. It's in a risky career field. Let me put some money in my daughter's trust fund. Let me put some money towards, like, yo, I'm gonna send my daughter to private school so she can be a doctor, or, you know, a lawyer, psychologist, like, you know, the quote unquote white collar jobs. And it's mind boggling to me. And again, at the end of the day, it's their life, it's their situation. And I honestly believe that, like, you know, people in those industries, like, they're doing jobs, they're, you know, fulfilling services that are out there. So it's not my business, but it's just the implications on societies. Like, is this the new norm, right?
But let's take a minute to think about, like, equal rights movement is going towards like, okay, women being able to do any job that men can do. But it's like, it doesn't go both ways, to be honest, because it's like a man wanted to be a stripper, like, it's just kind of like, all right, cool. But there's not a lot of jobs that are like that, where it's just like fast money. Like, think about it as a man, what is a fast money job for you? Venmo, or like, hey, PayPal me this and your link, and then dudes would be like, oh yeah, or like females would be like,
no,
all right, cool.
No.
So like, already in that aspect, women are able to make what, $2,000-$3,000 a night. And then
more than that with OnlyFans.
Yeah. And then it's like, what does a man have to do to make that much money in one night, if he's just like got nothing? Because like, most of these jobs are just like, you could start off with absolutely nothing and start making
that you probably have already. Yeah.
Exactly, and start making like buku money. There's
There
not really
isn't.
anything for men like that.
I can't think of anything because, like, if you're scamming, you're probably gonna have some technical expertise that you
Everything that
need
a
to
man
know.
would have to do would be illegal. Let's just say that. That's the point I was
You-
getting to.
Pretty
It's like
much, yeah. Pretty
everything
much,
that
straight,
is
like straight
fast
up.
money for men is super illegal. Like it's either
Yeah.
scamming, selling drugs, like mainly scamming for the most part. Because like I can't just be like, I mean, I could like in the all reality be like, oh, I'm gonna go be a stripper. That's about it. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess dudes have OnlyFans. I haven't looked into it. What is the market for that? I feel like the market for simps is a
mean-
lot higher and for men, or like the simp market is mostly men compared to like women. Like women aren't just like, oh man, like this dude's got an OnlyFans. Let me go on here so I can like beat my stuff. Like it's just like,
I mean, they're probably doing it for the females that the dudes bring on, because yeah. So I don't know, but it's just a really interesting, to say the least, situation
yeah, I
about
mean,
this. Because again, it's like I don't really care if the woman is a breadwinner, but it's like you come from a long line of strippers. Like, is this okay? Is this mentality of fast money? I'm gonna, show my body to, how many millions, potentially millions of men.
I mean, it
for
even goes
money.
back
Like,
to like what with Kanye and Kim. Like Kanye at one point was just like, yo, I'm kind of turning my life around, and like I don't want you to be this and that. I think it was after she did that whole nude shoot,
that
and
photo
she like,
shoot, yeah, I
she
remember
like
it.
broke the internet, and she was like, Kanye was like on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It was like a snippet where Kanye was just like, I don't want you to be this anymore, like. And Kim was crying because she's like, you built me up into this, like this is what you wanted. And it's just like, that's the thing about men, is like our goals and ambitions can change at any point in time, especially like Kanye coming from like being like the most diabolical, like most hated, like I don't care, like Kanye shrug type of stuff, to like now like heavily pushing God and everything like that. So it's just like something in his life changed. And I'm assuming once he had his kids, he started realizing that like, yo, I'm going to be a role model to my kids. So I don't need to be out here just like drinking Hennessy, like with strippers and things like that. But I mean, that's not like the greatest example, because like a lot of people will say that a lot of Kanye's actions are questionable, which I mean, some of them are, but I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like him as a father, he wants to be in his kid's life, and he like has those goals in him, those ambitions to like really be a father figure. And that's another thing too, is like being a father figure, while you may not do all the right things, there's certain things that you don't want your kids to see, there's certain things that you don't want your kids to repeat, and you will show that to your kids, and your kids will know at heart that like, okay, like you might have done some stuff in your past, you might say radical stuff on TV and this and that, but like as a father, you'll always be able to explain to your children that like, yo, like this is why I did this. This is the type of mental space. And you have to like really break it down to them, because we've watched so many videos, even the video you sent me today about Kevin Samuels, where it was just kind of like, men are useless. And it's just like, you have all this generation of women who are coming in being like, oh, man ain't shit, man ain't this, man ain't that, they're useless. But then think about all the things that great men have done in this world, as far as like inventions, as far as like innovation, as far as like keeping the structure of the world together. And it's like, and that's not to downplay any of the women that have done things like that, but it's like, okay, now women have the opportunity to be in this space, and they're somewhat seeing that like, yo, it's not easy to be in this space. Like men have to deal with a lot, and then a lot of them are just taking the easy road, where it's just like, oh, well, I couldn't go to school, I couldn't do this and that, so I'm gonna just like start an OnlyFans, or like I'm gonna go be a stripper, or like I'm gonna just con dudes out of money all day and tell them like, yo, send me out, fly me out. And the thing is, it's like, it seems like that the more that women are getting the rights to do all these things, the more that they're realizing that like they don't want to do these things. And that's just as far as like the social media aspect of it. I know there's a lot of women out there doing amazing things. I mean, you got college students who graduate all the time, but these aren't the women that are being showed in the social media.
Exactly.
Like, and that's the biggest problem, is like, you have all these women who are doing amazing things, yet none of these women are being put out into the light. And then it's always just like, oh, whole culture, and oh, this girl's making fast money doing this. And it really starts to impact the females who are trying to do better, who are doing things, and they're starting to think like, damn, what did I go to college for? Like, if this girl's just gonna make 3 times as much as me, just like, bro, I've seen wild stuff. Like, even Twitch is getting ridiculous now. Like, seen some girls sucking a dildo on AMSOR, and I'm like, bro, like, yes, bro, yes, bro, yes. Like, it's getting, like, Twitch is getting ridiculous, bro. Like, that thing used to be about gaming, but it might as well be OnlyFans Junior, like, because like a lot of these 2.0. Yeah, it's like a lot of these females are on there. Just like, if you look at any of this stuff, and that's just like, that's on their front page. Like, you literally log in like, oh man, I'm gonna watch some Twitch streaming, and then it's just like ASMR, like hot tub streaming, stuff like that. And it's like I said, like, I don't knock nobody's hustle, but it's just like one of those things where like it also goes back into like the men, like, who are these dudes who are simping and doing all this other thing? It's just like, oh, like they banned simp on Twitch to not, because they know that that's like where their money's coming from. So it's just like, oh, we can't have these dudes donating money to us and being called simps, because then they're going to go away from our platform. So, I mean, everything's becoming about money, bro. Like, if you can make money off of it, that's what it is. But as far as the long-term longevity for like the society, it just feels like it's going down the drain for the most part. People aren't worrying about the right things. Like, there's so many more important things that we could be worried about in the world, and then here we are. So I think that is the thing is, like, the video is just a trigger to the conversation. It's not even just like we're downplaying her or anything like that, but it's just for people to like look at these situations and be like, okay, like, is this an okay situation? Is this what we want? Is this what we're heading towards? Like, how do you feel about it? How should people feel about it? Because like, if this is becoming the norm, then this is just going to become the norm. And as the norm becomes the norm, we just move on, adapt, and deal with it. So,
yeah, I mean, in my closing remarks, and just to kind of piggyback off what Will said, like, one interesting you brought up was Kanye and him wanting to be a father. And it's like, so what happened to that stripper's father? Where is her father, right? Where's her mom's husband, right? She's single. And even with that chick, that stripper, she went to the Dominican Republic and got someone, pretty much on a green card. And it's kind of like, well, what real, I guess, place of power does he have in the relationship? Because she can be like, yo, I'm out, and he probably gets deported. Like,
I mean,
this is the way I see it.
No, I mean, that's real life. I mean, things like that happen, and it's like, I mean, it's not any different from like when men go out of the country and just be like, oh, I'm gonna bring somebody back from outside the country. But this is what we're shifting to, where women can do the same things. And it's like, I mean, there's plenty of dudes women who are in the same situation as dude, where they're like constantly taking care of the kids, not really doing anything. The man's the breadwinner. So, I mean, maybe to a certain extent, she feels empowered, and she's just like, oh, like, I finally am somebody. But that's a whole nother conversation, because like, if we talk about like everybody trying to be like a somebody, like, it's like people care too much about opinions. Let's just say that. But we'll touch bases on that in another topic. But until next time.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.